Chad Fesler along with us. Good morning, Chad. How are you, good sir?
Good, thank you.
Give me the quick elevator pitch on what a trust is.
So basically, there are two types of trust. One when you're living and one when you're dead. The grantor trust or the revocable trust is the one that you can be the trustee while you're alive. Then after you pass, that becomes an irrevocable trust. Typically, people associate the revocable trust as one that avoids probate. That tool is used for. And then the irrevoke, it locks everything up, and so you can't change it once you've passed. Beneficiaries can't make any changes really typically to it, and you can't take assets or remove assets from it. They have to stay in there until it's terminated.
Is the trust, Chad, something that can only be used once the person who sets it up is deceased, or can you be alive and say, all right, I want to set this trust up and see the good that it does while I'm still among the living?
Yeah, you can do that. Usually with a revocable trust, you can set it up and then you could put the assets in there and then you can derive that when you're alive, or if you become incapacitated, it's a tool for that as well. And then, like I said, once you pass, then that becomes that irrevocable trust.
Okay. What are some of the benefits of setting up trusts and stuff like that?
Typically, we see them to provide income for a beneficiary or to preserve an asset. If there's farmland involved, you'll have a trust for that. I don't want to call it spendthrift, but we've seen a lot of beneficiaries that if they get a large amount of money, they're not going to have it for long, so that can protect that asset as well. Usually a trust is just to protect an asset and drive it where you want it to.
What's the difference, Chad, between a trust and a will then? Because I know the house is left in the will. Can you put that as part of the trust then?
Typically, you can put a house in a revocable trust. Usually that is a probatable asset. You can have a will. You can have an estate and a trust.
Benefits, we talked about not only the monetary, but what about tax benefits for somebody who was thinking long-term and thinking down the road? What are some of the benefits?
The benefit is you can defer income. It's a pass-through entity, so any distributions to the beneficiary is going to be taxed. But if you hold that stuff in the trust, typically that'll defer taxes. Or if you can do some things with the trust where you can transfer the interest to principal, and then that can save on taxes as well. There's some strategies there. So.
And you've talked about assets like money and farmland and stuff. How does that kind of help avoid probate? Because I mean, probate, if I'm correct, are people kind of arguing this versus that and stuff? Am I correct in that assessment?
Yeah, probate goes through the courts, so it gets distributed through the court system.
Okay.
And then there's a percentage that's taken by the executor and then typically an attorney who probates the will. So for your question is, usually with a trust, if you have assets in a different state, that creates another probate. So that's ancillary probate. So what you want is to have that trust. You can have all your assets in one basket, if you will.
Okay. This is going to seem like a dumb question. I'm going to ask it anyway. Are trusts only for rich people, or can anybody have a trust?
Actually, that's a great question. I just got done reading a book. It was written in the 90s, 2000s. They cited the average trust size was about 200,000. I would say we see a lot of smaller trusts. You don't see a lot of 40 million, 50 million. They're out there, obviously. But yeah, it helps people do what they want with their assets. So anybody can use it.
Okay. Best piece of advice, somebody on the fence thinking about a trust, what would you give them?
I would tell them to go talk to either a trust officer or an attorney. If you're to that point, you can do some research online. That's kind of a one-size-fits-all thing, but you want specialized information, you'd see an attorney, or you could meet with us and we'll kind of walk through some things.
Which leads me to my next question. How can people get a hold of you, get your autograph signed, and all that stuff?
Perfect, yeah. myfsb.com. We have a webpage, a wealth management page. It has us on there and our investment team as well.
There you go. Any final thoughts on trusts before we dismiss you and let you get back to your day, which won't be nearly as fun as this?
No, this is a lot of fun.
You can stick around as long as you want. You're welcome to.
I got a meeting after this. Yeah, I think, early planning helps. That way, if you want to make changes down the road, you can. And then just, getting in front of this before you have to do it. So.
Okay, there you go. And then we, of course, put all the information, how you can get a hold of Chad and the entire team at FSB online on our website, kcrg.com. Good to see you, good sir. Safe travels.